I'm speaker. Today I will push the button in the room which is absolutely empty, which has no doors and no windows. It's very important in the case we're talking about, because we must understand, if we do no actions in the situation, if we're, for example, I don't know, in some neutral environment, we'll starve and die. And this will be pretty important in my case that I'm going to tell you now. I will tell you about how pushing the button is the only way of action, and why it's better to take action than to do nothing, and why is it basically more safe, pretty safe to push the button. Okay, let's see. Basically, right now we're in a position when we can do nothing. We can neither way escape, neither way call for help. We have nothing with ourselves, we have nothing to do. And basically, let's imagine that we're in a situation where nothing will happen if we won't push the button. What will happen is basically that we will starve and die, as I said before, because well, it's impossible for us to find any source of food, to find any source of communication with somebody. So no actions mean death, or at least big trouble for us if we're not pushing the button. And why I believe that this is the case that we must talk about? Well, we of course must understand that there are only three basic scenarios why we can be in this room. It's one way is that it's a positive situation for us, that it is a prank or something like that that our friend have pulled on us, and basically no matter what we are doing, it will be okay for us. Or other way around, it may be some dangerous situations. We might be, I don't know, be stolen by some aliens or terrorists, and they will either way kill us no matter what we will do. And so basically we must not talk about this positive potential outcome, because it will happen no matter if we push the button or not, or negative outcome that will happen no matter if we will push the button or not. We must talk about this neutral situation where everything depends only on whether we will push the button or not, if we're some kind of neutral environment. And this is very important for us. So basically, let's look at the situation. If we're in such positive situation, if it's a prank or anything like this, basically pushing the button will anyway save us some time. Maybe we'll have some fun, maybe we'll have I don't know, some help from our friends, and it will be pretty good for us to push button as well. And this is quite important to know, because basically it's the biggest possibility. I'd say about 90% of the possibility of the situation happening, because well, it's hardly believed for us to be stolen by some kind of aliens or anyone like this. And as I said, in a bad situation, if we've been stolen by some kind of aliens, if we've been stolen by some terrorists that are pulling such things on us, well, if we will not push the button, they will just get angry. They will say that we're wasting their time, and they will probably not do anything good for me. So basically pushing the button will be best option in this case as well. And of course, about the neutral situation, when, I don't know, maybe the walls will explode when I will push the button, maybe something else will happen, maybe there will be a door opened for no reason. But basically what I'm talking about is the fact that if we won't push the button, as I said before, it will lead to no good for us, because we have no other choice. And I believe that having a little fraction of a chance, even if this fraction of a chance is not that big, it's much more important for us than not having it at all. Because if we want to survive, if we want to just keep on going, it's very, very important for us to do at least something. Thank you. At least something. And basically it's hard to talk about anything much more in this situation, because we have only two options, and I have just told you about how things may go in any possible situation that is happening for us. So I believe that pushing the button is the best option in any case that we can face if we're in such blank room with only with only the button inside. And I don't believe that it's possible to anyhow counter this. And so therefore I will end my speech right there.
Okay, thank you very much. So cross-examination, please do class. You have 3 minutes.
Is there time for it?
3 minutes.
Can I call you for preparation?
No. After first speeches.
What about the third situation? If there's some sort of experiment testing your patience or your ability to critically analyze and weigh the risks?
Well, if it's an experiment, then if I'll push the button, I'll save some of my time. And if these guys who are doing the experiment have stolen me and without my own permission, they're criminals, and I don't want to make myself a member of this experiment. So.
What is the point of the experiment? You said that they will get angry if I want to push the button, but nobody is asking you to push the button. What if it's vice versa, that these people will get angry if you push the button and it actually will damage you?
Well, you know, it's this situation is pretty much, how may I say, if they're pulling an experiment on me, they don't really want to either way push me to push the button or not to push the button. They just want to examine whether I do this or not. And either way, it will not be a negative outcome for them.
Do you acknowledge that actually pushing the button is giving the whole value of your life and everything just on the occasion, on the chance, just occasion and chance will determine your...
Yes, of course. Look, there's a chance that I will survive if I will push the button. And there's a total 100% I'm sure that I will die of starving if I won't push the button in other case.
Is your main value security or what?
Yes, I believe it's more secure to push the button, and I believe it's, well, it's a better action in any way, in any case that you may put.
Do you think that people were actually always trying to become more conscious and being able to determine their destiny?
Well, in current situation, I'm trying to use my logical opinions to choose my destiny. I believe that this is what a rational human being must do.
Don't you think that the outcomes are too unpredictable?
I believe that having an unpredictable outcome is better than having a predictable death in the end.
Where is the guarantee that you will die? Maybe after some time they will just open this.
I must understand that there is not much guarantees, but I told you why there is more possibility of my death than possibilities of me being escaped.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you very much. So, Ms. Douglas, you have 7 minutes to present your speech, please.
Well, first of all, let me start with some rebuttal. Today they said that actually there is only one outcome if we will stay in this room, that we will starve and finally die. However, it is again not the case, because we are in such situation that we don't know actually whether this room is going to open finally or not going to open. So being so categorical and saying that there is only one outcome, you will strive to death, it's actually quite... because he's not sure what will happen after he pushes the button, but why he's sure what will happen if he just stays in the room. So actually, the candidate is not weighing all the possibilities and all the chances that may arise. Also, today he said again about that it's more dangerous for us to stay in the room because people will get angry and mad. However, again, he's not explaining why someone should get angry and being mad. And when I asked him the questions, he said that no, they won't do anything to you because it's an experiment or something. But before this, he said they will get angry and so on. Also, he said that he actually acknowledged that we are giving the whole our destiny to this chance. And now I'm going to explain to you why giving our lives just to this chance and occasion is bad and actually contradicting to the whole values of the humanity that we currently have. Well, first of all, yes, we do agree that consequences of the pushing button are extremely unpredictable. If we look throughout history, man was actually trying to be in charge of their own destiny. If we look at the situation a long time ago, our lives were often determined just by chance and just by consequences. For instance, during the Stone Age, you didn't know what will happen to you next. For instance, if you will go somewhere, you may just die because of the natural disasters, or wild enemies are going to kill you and eat, or maybe you are going to collect some herbs and you eat these herbs and they actually were poisoning and you again were dead. And because of this, men, of course, were unsatisfied with such conditions and such consequences, because for the humans, it was important to being able to determine their own destiny, to being the ones who are in charge of their destiny, not giving these things just to the chance and just to some other external factors that can affect your life. Therefore, actually, humanity was trying to overcome this sort of the event, because when your life life and destiny are subject just to some occasion and chance, you feel yourself as a weak, inferior, and unprotected person, and therefore we tried our best to change the situation. For instance, if humanity were developing and trying to progress such that we are no longer depending on just ordinary occasions that happen in our life, we were able to learn how to build a shelter so that we can at least diminish the risk of these natural disasters for us, so that we can save our lives, so that our lives are no longer dependent just on the nature, but also on our own actions. Also, we were able to learn how to protect ourselves from wild animals and how to determine what herbs are actually poisoning and what herbs are not poisoning, so that we were able to understand what we should consume and what we shouldn't consume. And this was a very, very important step for humanity, because this is what actually determines human being from just an ordinary animal, because human being is able to control situation. Human being knows what the outcomes, and value this ability to predict the outcomes. And for the human being, it is currently, when you are in this white room and there is nothing more, just you, it's extremely important for you to understand that you should know that you should be in charge of your own life, that you should be able to realize the consequences, because just giving your life to the chance, it's like again going back to the Stone Ages when you were unable to predict what happened to you next, this is like the regression is the regression of your own values, the regression of your own abilities as a human being. Therefore, I believe that for me, if I were in this room, it would be extremely important to not push this button, because this button is actually illustration of this dependence of human on chance and occasion. And for me, as a conscious human being, it is important not to give this occasion and chance again being powerful toward my own life and destiny. Therefore, I would prefer to stay in this room. Okay, there may be because in being in this room still gives me more security than pushing this button. She said that you will strive to death in this room. However, at least you know that in this room there is nobody else in this room. There is no actually except you can strive to death, but there is no other threats to your life, so that you are sure, you are aware that you feel security, and if you didn't push in the button, even if you acknowledge that you may strive to death, at least you for sure know this, and you are not giving your life to the chance. But also it may turn much better consequences, that this will actually open, as I already gave some examples, that this may be the situation that is testing your patience and other stuff, but at least you are not fully giving your life and responsibility for your life just for an ordinary occasion. So for me, this game's main value is actually ability of the human being to determine and predict own destiny. And I believe that this value actually shouldn't be undermined. If you will weigh these two values, when you push the button, there is a chance that determines everything. Chance whether you die or not die, or what will actually happen. You are completely unsure of unpredictable circumstances. He himself even acknowledged that maybe the whole world will explode, and this is just because of the chance, just because of the one small button that determines everything in your life. Here, when you stay in the room, at least you know that the world will not explode, because you are doing some actions that you are not consciously deciding for you to do, just because you are so interested, like just to push it or not to push it. And I believe that staying in this room, even if you will strive to death, but at least you acknowledge for yourself, at least you determine for yourself what is better for you, and at least you're as a rational human being, as a human being who come up through the whole process of development and progress, a human being who from the Stone Age to the current time learn how to protect himself, learn how to not to give the occasion and chance ownership toward your life and destiny. You should not push this button. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Coming up to the cross-examination. After first speeches and questions, yes.
So, please tell me, how did humans know which herbs are poisonous and which herbs are not poisonous?
well, they were trying it. But there is a big difference between trying, because there was a lot of human and they could look at this human and learn. But here you are only one in the room and there is nobody on whom you can test the outcomes. So this button determines everything and there is no process of learning from this.
Why don't you care about the people who will die from this poisonous hurt, but care about the world exploding soon?
Because here there was a reason of learning, and the learning is the main part of the development and the progress, which contributed to the betterment of the whole humanity. But here, when the whole world exploding, there is no betterment, there is no humanity, there is no learning, no progress, no values.
Okay, you say very lot about the fact that I am giving everything to the chance and you're not. But you must understand that there's only a chance that you will not die if you will not push the button as well.
Why is there but at least here when I'm not pushing the button, I acknowledge the whole types of consequences. For instance, I acknowledge that I may die from because I have nothing to eat, and I fully acknowledge it, and I'm not giving it to the chance. And also there is maybe situation that okay, maybe somebody will escape me or the doors will just open, and etc. But this is a positive consequence. But I'm ready for the whole negative consequences, and I'm fully aware and not giving these negative consequences to happen by chance. But when you push the button, you don't know what will happen, so that you're not expecting something directly to happen. You are fully unaware because anything may happen.
Okay, thank you. I don't have much more questions. Now,
Yes, now you may.
2 minutes.
In total, you have 4. How much do you want to say?
I don't have 2 speeches only.
Yes.
I have
Okay.
4 minutes.
How long minutes we have for preparation? For preparation?
5 or 4 minutes at all.
In total.
How does it handle the 6 minutes? I have 4 minutes.
4 minutes at all. Cool. Где он? Что с космосом связано? Это вот там? Где за городом? А, вулкан. Да. Она кто тебе показывает?
Вообще химик.
Ой, прикольно. Ты химия, это семейная, да? Но ты решила не прям пойти на химика?
Электроинженерная химия, а не биохимия.
Окей.
So, dear Madam Speaker, now I'll show why the logic of the Miss Douglas is pretty flawed, and basically she's given everything to the chance as well, but her chance is much smaller than the chance that I'm offering you. Look, she's talking mainly about the fact that humans have always wanted to know what will be in the end, that even if you know that in the end it will be the death for sure, then you must just say, okay, I will accept this death just because I know it will come to me. But let me give you an example that pretty much goes with her logic, and you will understand how flawed this logic is. Let's imagine I'm a Jew in the Nazi camp, and I'm sentenced to die tomorrow. And I will know for sure that I'm going to die tomorrow because they will, I don't know, burn me or do anything that they want to me. I can try just to stay and do nothing and face my death just because I know it. And I can try to flee. I don't know what will happen to me. Maybe I will be able to escape to, I don't know, USSR or other country. Maybe I will not be able to escape and they will torture me more. But dear Miss Judge, look, it's much more better for me to try to flee, because even if there is a chance that and Nazis will catch me and torture me more. Even if there is a chance that I will just starve and die somewhere in the forest, even if there's any other chances, it's better for me just to try to save myself, to try to do something, at least if I don't know even the consequences for sure. Than just sacrificing my life for this knowledge that I'm going to die. Because I have my family, because I have my friends, because I want to serve for them all, and want to see them at least, and not just to go and rot somewhere, being dead. And this is pretty much sums up the whole position of the Miss Douglas. She says that it's okay to do nothing, because if you will do nothing, you will at least for sure know that you will die in the end. Because other way around, she doesn't know any other consequences. If she will not do anything, she will just know as much as I do in any other consequence. She will not know whether the door will open. She does not know whether the walls will explode or the world will explode. She doesn't know anything just the same way as me. But she has one big consequence in the end that will for sure most probably happen. I have nothing like this. I have a chance. And this is very important. Basically, everything that she's talking about is the fact that basically I must not be fixed to the chance. I must know everything about the situation. But the thing is, in this situation, you don't know anything, and you are not able to know anything. She says about how humans found out about which herbs are possible to eat and which herbs are poisonous, which animals are dangerous and which are not. But in this situation, she cannot find out anything. She's unable to do anything. She must just give herself to the chance, because there's no way for her to use her knowledge. There's no way for her to use her ability to find out what's dangerous and what's not, because she doesn't know whether it's dangerous to stay in the room, and she doesn't know whether it's dangerous to push the button. And as I said, basically, what she's talking about, this situation when we won't push the button and the door will open, it's a situation that is most probable to happen, but it will happen as well if we'll push the button, because it will happen only in the case if the creatures that put us in this room are positive towards us, if they like us, if they, I don't know, our friends maybe, someone like this. And it will happen no matter whether they will push the button or not. But I, in my case, talked about the situation where these creatures that put us into this room, they're neither way negative or positive towards us, when they're neutral 15 seconds in advance. And only in such case we basically have a real reason to choose anything. And I believe that in this reason, when we're faced with absolute void of ignorance, this is where we must give ourselves to the chance, instead of just sacrificing our life for some God knows what, for needed knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Douglas, any time? You have your last 6 minutes.
So today he tells that the chances that we survive in this room are much smaller. But even if these chances are much smaller, I'm still arguing for preserving this value of the development, preserving the value of being the human being, preserving the value of what determines us from animals. Because today he said that chances are very small, but at least you are aware of the worst consequences that might happen to you. For instance, like if you push the button, you don't know at all what happened. Maybe you will, let's imagine that in both cases you will die. But in this case, if you stay in the room, you know that you are dying from starvation, and you know how, and you're like able to imagine how it feels to die from starvation. But here, if you put the button, you don't know how you will die. For instance, you may die from the very violent actions of someone else, and you will be suffering much more because you are unprepared to such actions. Maybe somebody will take you and will start to making some injections to you, or doing some other bad stuff to you, and you don't know what to expect at all. You are unprepared to these negative consequences, and therefore you will suffer much more because you are unable to predict, unprepared to these outcomes, and this is extremely bad. And therefore, I believe that it's not a good idea to push the button. Also today he said that the example of the Nazi camp. However, we have to determine, we have to understand for ourselves that these examples are completely different. Because if an example of the Nazi camp, you know that if you will try to escape, you know that there is a clear possibility, clear option, that one of the outcomes that you will be free, that you will definitely escape from this Nazi camp, and the other outcome that they will punish you more, and etc., etc. But currently, when you are pushing the button, you don't see this visualization. You don't know one outcome for sure. You know that you may escape or may not escape, but you are not sure that there is a guarantee and there is actually possibility that you can escape, because you don't know what happened next after pushing this button. Therefore, I believe that these examples are completely different, and we have to be very conscious about these two outcomes, and understand that when there is a clear chance that you can escape, it's the different situation rather than we just know nothing at all about pushing this button. Also today he tried to persuade us about the emotion and feeling, and said that I have my family, I have my friends, I want to see them at least last time, and etc. etc. If he's so caring about his family and friends, why he's actually pushing this button that may kill his family and his friends, that may explode the whole world, such that they will actually die. So very caring Mr. Lincoln, who is actually not caring about what happened to their family at all. For instance, if I was in this room, and even if I will know that I will die and not see my family again, but at least I know that I'm not pushing this button, and I know that the world will not explode because of this button. The world will not explode because of my actions. My family, my friends, they will not die. Even if I will not be able to see them, it's okay for me, because at least I know that they are safe. So I don't really understand this. His idea about this. Also, he's saying that she is unable to do anything. She, with her knowledge and all this other stuff. But again, the main value here is to preserve the value of being the human being, to preserve the things that determine you from animal, not to give this not to give the whole situation just to the chance. Again, he said that I'm acknowledging the full outcomes that may happen. I look through the different perspectives, through the different situation, but mainly his case is actually built towards the idea that there is a high possibility of the positive outcomes, and therefore we should try. However, this possibility, first of all, is not high, and it's very, very uncertain, and again, therefore we cannot say that it's better to push the button. Also, he is blaming me to being so ignorant and just staying idle and do nothing. However, I think that in my case, I clearly explained why it's better in this case not to push the button and to do nothing. So, summarizing all above, the main points and main ideas made today by Lincoln was, okay, there is a chance you may die or may not die. If you not die, yes, it's cool, it's great, but this possibility is uncertain. We don't even know if this possibility of not dying exists or not, and it's really worth mentioning here. And the other option that you will die, and you don't know how you will die. Will you explode? Will you be tortured? Or will you explode the whole world? Or what will happen? You don't know at all. And this is why it's very, very bad. Because if you are going to be tortured, you are going to be suffering. And I believe that being tortured is much worse than just striving to death. Because if you are striving to death, you are already ready to it, and you acknowledge and taking the whole responsibilities of what will happen in the next on yourself, not on the chance. So from my point of view, there is if the positive outcomes will happen, yes, it's okay. But even if they will not happen, I'm still prepared to die from hunger. Also, I know that nothing will happen to my family and relatives, and the most important thing that I'm not giving my life and my destiny to the chance, because I'm a rational human being. This is what determines me from the animal, that I'm able to be responsible for my life, and I'm not looking forward for unexpected consequences. I'm absolutely sure if I will die, how will I die, and even if I will not die, I will be just happy, but not be suffering because I didn't expect my death from torture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you need 2 minutes to prepare? No?
I have 3 minutes.
All right.
Thank you. So, who does care about your values when you're dead? This is a question I want to raise, and I will give you a great example about how human values are not the most important case when you're close to death. But let me first just rebuttal a few things. Basically, what she's talking about, that there is a possibility of this button to kill the whole world, or your family at least. But we must understand, we're logical human beings. There's a very small fraction of chance that this button will kill your family, or even more, to explode the whole world. There is a chance that it will kill you. There is a chance that it will explode the room. Whole worlds, very little possibility, and this is not even worth, thinking about it, because there's a possibility that even if you want to push the button, the world will explode. Pretty much the same possibility, which is 0. Then other things that she's talking about, well, basically about how the human values are more important than survival. And I will show you now why survival, which I'm rooting for, is more important than her human values. She herself admitted that the survival, in my case, is more possible outcome. And look, human values. You know, in I don't remember in which year, but there was a plane crash in the mountains. And there was a few survivors, but they had nothing to eat. They had absolutely no food. And therefore they had to feed themselves on cannibalism of the people who were dead after this crash. The bodies were frozen, so therefore the meat did not get rot. And these people actually survived for 3 months like this until they were found by some kind of men that had been crossing the mountains. Why is this important? Look, humans all around the world have accepted what these people have done. All of these people were Catholics, they were Christians. And the Pope from Vatican, he just gave them his blessing. And he said that basically it's more important for them to survive, it was more important for them to survive than to just pursue these human values. Why I'm talking about this? It's not because the Pope is always right or anything like this, but we must understand humans are able to accept the fact that you're betraying the human values in the case if you're close to death. Human values are not something that's absolutely impossible to change. Human values, they go to change in extreme situations, and in such extreme situations that you're facing in this room when you don't know nothing, and when you have a chance to die from starvation, it's a good enough reason for you to just drop your human values that you've been taught and just go for the survival. Because this is what people have done before, and this is what people have accepted. And therefore, going for survival no matter what is one of the best and one of the most fundamental human values. I believe that my human values, the survival that I have been pursuing throughout all my case, is much more important human value, 50 seconds in advance, than the value of Miss Douglas. And therefore, I believe that as she agrees with my a higher possibility of survival, we must just not let ourselves die only because we know for sure that we will die. We must have a chance.
Thank you very much. By the old debate tradition, shake your hands and go to the main room.